Hey, it's Lily. Let's just listen to a story together. From my balcony, I saw what no one else dared to notice. The perfect family next door wasn't so perfect after all. This is the story of secrets, shadows, and the choices that could break an entire neighborhood. From my balcony, the gated community looks like a showroom floor that someone forgot to dust. The pool lights smear blue on the water. The hedges are clipped within an inch of their lives. And the HOA newsletter arrives with the regularity of tides and dental appointments. On Thursdays, sprinklers pop like champagne corks at 5 a.m. On weekends, the perfect couple grills salmon and hands out extra napkins like favors at a wedding that never ends. You know the couple. Every cul-de-sac has them. Their patio string lights are symmetrical. They RSVP first and bring the good dips to HOA potlucks, the ones that make you mutter, "We should really ask for that recipe." But you never do because it would taste wrong without their perfection. She's the kind of pretty that seems laminated. Smart bob, neutral manicure. The sort of mid-range watch that whispers, "I am responsible," and somehow costs more than your first car. He's the guy who carries an extra folding chair in his trunk. They have a 5-year-old boy, Milo, who rides a scooter like it's his job and remembers to say thank you without being reminded. We wave from my balcony, because that's what neighbors do. And because the balcony is where I see more than people mean to show. The first strange thing happened on a Wednesday morning at 7:03 a.m. when my phone pinged with a Google Photos notification. Shared album, pool days, updated. I almost ignored it. I'm in more shared albums than I want to be. Birthdays, HOA Easter egg hunts, last year's chili cook-off where half the dads dressed like they were auditioning for a barbecue commercial. But this one had a thumbnail that snagged my eye. Our shared pool, late afternoon sunlight, a slant of shadow across water. The album said it had been shared by Jess. No last name, just Jess, which is the laminated pretty one's name. Jess and her husband, Evan, the HOA sweethearts. Now, I'm not nosy by principle. I'm nosy by architecture. When you live in a gated community built like a diorama, everyone's windows line up like theater seats facing the same stage. From my balcony, I have a God's eye view of our shared pool and the path to the mail kiosk. I have learned more than I wanted to about whose Amazon packages arrive on autopilot and whose lawn guys smoke behind the juniper hedge and leave a confetti of butts like a parade went wrong. So I opened the album. The first few photos were familiar. Kids cannonballing, moms with sun hats, a lifeguard posing with a foam noodle like a ceremonial staff. Then, an odd one. A close-up of a wrist wearing a thin gold bracelet I recognized as Jess's, a tiny charm shaped like a teardrop. The bracelet glowed against a tanned forearm gripping the metal ladder on the shallow end. If it had been just the bracelet, fine. But there was a hand beside hers, a man's hand, fingers pressed to the rail just above hers. Not Evan's. I know Evan's hands. He's got those practical, square palms, a white band of skin where his wedding ring sits when he forgets to take it off for yard work. This other hand wore a watch, silver, polished, with a face the color of iced tea. There were 2 little screws on the bezel that caught the light like stars. The kind of watch you notice in the way you notice a Maserati purring down a 25 Malwine street. I pinched and zoomed like the world's nosiest raccoon. The hands were close, closer than the oops pool ladder congestion distance. The captions were silent. The timestamp read last Friday, 5:42 p.m., when the HOA mixer had wound down and the kids were still sugared up, squealing, making the shallow end a democracy of squeaks. We were there. I remembered the faint chemical perfume of sunscreen and the way the plastic cups cracked if you held them too hard. The next photo flipped my stomach. Jess on the lounge chair, sunglasses perched like a tiara. A shadow leaned over her, someone standing just out of frame. Her mouth was shaped in that small, surprised O that people get when you tell them something scandalous, or when you do. The third photo was a selfie, hasty, half of Jess's face and the bottom half of a man's chin, a blur of a patterned shirt, a small dark print, not Evan's polos. The skin at the edge of his jaw was smooth, shaven in that expensive way. If you live long enough in this cul-de-sac, you can identify a person from a reflection in a spoon. I scrolled with a feeling like leaning too far over a railing. Then the album cut to Milo feeding the lifeguard's mutt a pretzel. That was it. The rest was normal, almost violently wholesome. Someone had added 3-star emojis to a photo of kids playing sharks and minnows. But up top, an orange bar. Shared album. Anyone with the link can view. Anyone with the link, including me by accident. I locked my phone. Unlocked it. Walked to the kitchen, then back to the balcony, the way you do when you suspect you've seen a ghost, and the ghost is probably just a coat. Down below, the pool lay unbothered. The maintenance guy, Ramon, dragged the leaf net in long, authoritative arcs. 2 houses over, a blow-up flamingo deflated like a failing souffle. On the path to the mail kiosk, Mr. Hubbard jogged in a visor, pumping his arms like a passionate metronome. Jess's back door slid open. She stepped out with a laundry basket. From this angle, you could see the neatness of her. Collarbones making delicate parentheses. Leggings that had confetti sprinkles of pool water on them. She strung towels across the rail. The gold bracelet flashed once, as if it were signaling to me. I thought of that photo. I thought of the way her fingers wrapped the pool ladder, white at the knuckles, like both a grip and a surrender. There are easy explanations, I told myself. Maybe it was a cropped group photo. Maybe I was making a story out of pixels. But the story had weight. It pulled on my own insides. Later, at the mail kiosk, I tried to arrange my face into neighborly neutral. Jess was there collecting a padded envelope, her phone tucked between shoulder and ear. She waved with the hand holding the key. The teardrop charm winked. "Happy Wednesday," she mouthed. Her voice stayed syrupy for the phone. "Yes, noon works. No, I can slip away. It's just the gym." Slip away. We all have alibis. Mine is my balcony. No one expects anything from me but a wave. That night, I couldn't sleep. Sometimes I fall asleep to the hum of pool filters, to the soft clack of the gate. I scrolled back to the album. A new photo had appeared. The deep end at dusk. The water a bruise blue. 2 wine glasses on the cement. The sort they sell at Target for pretending you're not drinking by the pool. No people. But shadows told on them. 2 elongated shapes bending toward each other. One with a shoulder line like a coat hanger. The caption, again, blank. The timestamp was 8:11 p.m. last night. I tapped the 3 dots. Who was the other contributor? It said Jess and J, just an initial. The email address was a string of letters that meant nothing to me except the provider, a fancy private domain. No Gmail. It smelled, to my digital nose, like the leather of a car you let people sit in but never touch the dash. Okay. Maybe I should have closed the app and gone to bed. This is where I confess I zoomed into the reflection in the wine glass. You're thinking, that's ridiculous. It is, and it worked. A curved fisheye mirror world, pool lights, the low wall, and a gleam of what looked like a watch face. A dark disc with metal accents, like the one in the latter photo. Later, I told myself I was only worried about Milo. 5-year-olds are tender little satellites, pulled by whatever planet glows brightest in their sky. But worry has a shine that looks a lot like curiosity wearing a tie. Thursday morning, I caught Evan at the bins. Trash collection day turns us all into morning people. He hauled the blue recycling cart to the curb, whistling something upbeat and deeply uncool. Big weekend? I asked, aiming casual. He smiled, the kind of nice that earns you a casserole when your basement floods. Choe movie night, he said. We're bringing popcorn. He nodded at the house. Jess is doing those chocolate bars with sea salt. You know how she is. Perfect. Orchestrated. His ring flashed. Nice watch, I said, and his eyes flicked to his not remotely fancy Garmin with the cracked corner. He laughed. I'm the cheap one, he said. Jess has the taste. I wanted to rewind the sentence and analyze it. The cheap one, the taste. The taste for what? Sea salt? Or something with a face the color of iced tea? At lunchtime, the heat draped itself over the cul-de-sac like a lazy cat. I set my laptop on the balcony table and pretended to write invoices while the pool chattered with the sound of kids and gossip. 2 sun loungers pulled into the corner shade, the adults-only annex that isn't. Technically, Jess arrived in a cover-up that looked like clouds. She took the far lounger, and soon another shadow joined her. A man. Not Evan. He texted me earlier. Okay, not texted me. We're not text friends. But he'd posted in the neighborhood group. Anyone have a spare drill bit? Mine walked off. This man didn't need to ask for drill bits. He wore a shirt even in the heat. A pattern, small and dark. He sat very close, the way people do when they think about kissing and then don't. Because children have the moral authority of small cops when it comes to pool behavior. I put on sunglasses so I could stare and be invisible. Jess laughed in a way that belonged to someone I hadn't met at potlucks, her hand hovering midair and then landing gently on the man's arm like a moth landing on a lamp. I saw the watch. The sun made a starburst off the bezel. I couldn't see his face, not fully, just his profile when he turned. A strong nose, hair that receded not at all. He was careful with angles, as if we were all cameras. He leaned in. She tucked hair behind an ear with the pace of someone aware of being watched, and therefore performing a not-watching performance. Reckless is a word that feels like it belongs to teenagers. But there it was, sitting on our community pool furniture like it had paid HOA dues. Reckless. Anybody could have seen them. I saw them. Ramon saw them. The lifeguards saw them and looked deliberately away as if studying for a test on pool safety that would never end. By dinner, the album updated again. A new photo. A close-up of a gift bag on the stone counter near the hot tub. Tissue paper in a shade of white called something like pearl. No card visible, but the handles of the bag were tied with a narrow ribbon printed with tiny gold letters, an initials logo. I screenshotted before I could talk myself out of it, intending to delete it later. Like a good person, we call them the perfect couple, because we have to believe that perfection is achievable for people who recycle and never park with 2 wheels on the sidewalk. For a long time, the idea of the perfect couple was a shelter the rest of us could stand under when weather came. So, when the thunder starts, do you pull everyone under the awning? Or do you point and say, "Look, the roof leaks"? That was the question in my head as the sun slid down the spine of the block and porch lights blinked on in their pre-programmed sequence. Dilemma, in italics. I had two options, and both were ugly in the way real things are. Stay quiet and carry the weight of what I knew like a backpack full of rocks, or anonymously expose her. I imagined a drop to the HOA anonymous tip line, which everyone pretends doesn't exist and everyone knows does. An anonymous email, a printed photo slid into a mailbox like a snake. All of it suddenly felt prurient, punitive. I thought of Milo in his dinosaur pajamas, eating cheese slices with scissors marks. I thought of Evan's honest Garmin tan line. My phone pinged again. Jess added one photo to pool days. I opened it against my better judgment. It wasn't a photo. It was a short video. 3 seconds. The pool at night. The water black velvet. 2 voices, low, indistinct, nearly swallowed by the filter's hum. 1 word caught by the mic. Not even a word. A name fragment. Low. Milo. Hello. Or solo. Maybe a joke. The clip ended abruptly like someone bumped the phone and hit stop. My brain went to work with the clattering efficiency of a junk drawer. Who in our cul-de-sac wore patterned shirts, expensive watches, and had an email with a private domain? Who had ribbon-printed initials tied to gift bags as if branding were an addiction? Who could afford a watch with screws in the face like architectural studs? The names shuffled. I set them down like cards and flipped them over in my mind. The wealthy married neighbor next door moved in 3 months ago with a wife who has a travel Instagram featuring doors in Santorini and lattes with complicated foams. He nods when he jogs past, the most expensive nod I've ever seen, but you can't accuse a nod. At 9, the doorbell rang. Jess's porch light clicked on next door, an automatic timer, throwing a soft white on her hydrangeas. My own porch cam framed a courier in shorts, a late delivery. "Package for Jess?" he asked brightly when I opened, holding a white box tied with that same narrow ribbon, gold letters repeating like a mantra. They're not answering, and the label says, "Deliver tonight." You know them, right? I stared at the ribbon. I could feel the pool water in the air even though the gate was locked. "Yeah," I said. "Yeah, I know them." He shifted from foot to foot, the universal dance of a man with too many stops left on his route. "Could you?" "I can take it." He handed me the box. It was heavier than I expected. On the corner of the shipping label, in that neat, rich people font, a return address I recognized as the next door over. His house. The wealthy married neighbor. The initials on the ribbon matched his last name. I stood in my doorway with the weight of the box and the weight of the truth doing a duet on my palms. On Jess's porch, her cam blinked its small, unblinking red eye. In my pocket, my phone hummed with another notification I didn't check. Behind me, the living room clock did that sanctimonious tick you only hear when you're about to make a choice. Down the block, a dog barked once as if to vote. I took 1 step toward Jess's house, then another. The night smelled like chlorine and cut grass and the faint perfume I've come to associate with her. Something like grapefruit and library books. At the property line, I stopped. I could leave the box and let the ribbon tell its own story. I could bring it back inside and let the secrets congeal another night. Or I could slide the lid a fraction, just enough to confirm the kind of gift you don't buy with a Garmin tan line. A motion light snapped on at the wealthy neighbor's porch like a spotlight, as if the cul-de-sac were a stage and we'd finally reached the scene change. Someone inside, on the other side of his frosted glass, passed by. A silhouette with broad shoulders, a pattern of small, dark shapes across a shirt. I placed the box on Jess's doormat. I rang her bell. I walked back to my house with my heart thudding in my throat like a fish that wasn't ready to be caught. On my phone, one line of text glowed from an unknown number before the screen went dark again. "We should talk. Jay." From my balcony, the pool glittered like a secret I no longer controlled. The unknown number, "We should talk. Jay," sat on my lock screen like a wet footprint that wouldn't evaporate. I tried all the reasonable J's in our zip code. Jenna, who runs the Pilates studio. Jeff, who runs the HOA Facebook like a fiefdom. Even June, who walks 3 bichon frisés like a living cotton parade. But my gut knew whose initial it was. Jess. I waited a beat long enough to feel virtuous and then texted back. About the package? A pause. Those 3 dots appeared, vanished, returned like nervous minnows. "About everything," she replied. "Balcony?" I almost laughed. That balcony is an open secret. People joke that I live up there like a lighthouse keeper, seeing storms before they hit shore. I went outside, the metal chair sighing the way it does when heat lets go of the day. The pool lights were off. After 10, the HOA schedules the water to go dark to discourage night swimmers and encourage insomnia. The community smelled like wet stucco and lemon cleaner. The janitorial crew had just done the clubhouse. Jess stepped out of her back door like a figure entering stage left. She had the white box from next door tucked under her arm. Even in the dim, her teardrop charm caught the spill of a motion light. She looked up. I lifted a hand. Our houses are close enough that if someone sneezes, you know, whether it was polite. I didn't know who else to text, she called quietly, which is a sentence that never ends well. I'm a collector of those, I said, trying to keep everything light enough to float. Confessions that need a balcony. She smiled at that, a small, involuntary thing like a muscle memory of friendliness, and then it trembled. She came closer to the fence line, stopping right beneath the lemon tree that always looks like it's thinking hard. Can we not text? She said, tapping her phone. I think I keep pressing the wrong things. I looked at the white box. The ribbon had been retied, not by a store but by a person, looser, like an apology. You sent me the album by accident, I said. I made it a statement, not a question, to give her an easy step. Jess's jaw went tense in a way that made the rest of her face look younger. I thought I was adding photos for the pool committee. I tapped the wrong thread. He set up a sharing thing and She swallowed. It was stupid. The night held its breath. Somewhere a sprinkler hiccuped awake, gave one guilty spit, and shut off. You don't owe me an explanation, I said, even though I wanted one like I wanted cold water. No, she said, surprising me. I think I do. To someone. She turned the box over in her hands. A narrow sticker showed in the porch light. A monogram in gold letters, his initials repeating like a tiled floor. You're the only person who sees things, who sees us. That word slid between us like a third person. I see the pool, I said. And Amazon. Evan doesn't see, she said, toneless and not cruel. Not because he's dumb, because I made it easy. The HOA would call this a conversation about landscaping while the roots tore up the pipes under the sidewalk. "The watch," I murmured before I could stop myself. Her eyes flicked to mine and then away, the way people look at a camera and then pretend they didn't. "You noticed that too." She leaned on the fence post, her posture angled like a question mark. "I'm not going to make a speech," she went on. "I'm too tired for speeches. I wanted something nice. I thought about the evenings when the Amazon van comes twice, about the small domestic luxuries that filter through our screens until they feel like needs." "Nice," I echoed. The word sounded both heavy and light, a helium balloon tied to a paperweight. "You can judge me," she said, quiet. "I probably deserve it." "That's HOA's job," I said, and Jess laughed despite herself. We stood there, the laugh dissolving between us into something else. She lifted the lid of the box a little, like a magician showing her hands are empty when they're not. Inside, a faint pearly light caught on something small and jewelry-shaped. "He gives me things," she said. "Things I didn't think I wanted until they were around my wrist or my neck, and then it felt like someone thought about me, even if the thinking was expensive." She closed it again. "It's not the stuff," she said, but we both knew it was also the stuff. "It's the noticing. The gates to our community work on a key fob and a prayer. Once a month, they stick open long enough for contractors to wander in and remind us we are not as sealed as we imagine." It struck me then that marriages are like that, an idea of a perimeter more than a wall. I looked past Jess, through the gap in our yards, where Mr. Wealthy Next Door's house sat like an architectural brochure, all right angles and recessed lighting. His upstairs window glowed that dinnertime blue that means a television is narrating someone's life. "Does he know you sent the album to someone else?" I asked. Jess shook her head. "No, he's careful. I'm the messy one. Messy." The word fit our manicured lawns like a wine stain on a white couch. "And Evan thinks I'm at Barre," she said, and for a moment I pictured Jess at a ballet bar, leg lifted, spine long, a metronome of self-improvement. "Which I am, sometimes, enough to say it and not feel like I'm lying." Her voice softened. "Milo thinks I make the best waffles. I don't. They're just from a box. He just thinks anything I hand him is enough." The lemon tree shifted, and a citrus scent beat its wings. I was aware of the exact size of the gulf between confession and consequence. In the clubhouse, someone had left a light on. I could see the stage where we hold HOA meetings, the fold-out table where we vote on whether hedges can exceed a certain height without nudging Jesus off the sightline. "Why me?" I asked. "Why talk to me? You're the neighbor," she said simply, "the one above the pool. You're close enough to knock and far enough not to know where I keep the vinegar." A beat. "Also, I think you'll tell me the truth in the voice you use when you say, 'Weeds are back,' and you mean, 'It's going to cost money.' It's strange when someone you've only waved to knows the shape of your truth voice." "The truth is," I said, "you're being reckless. You know that." I kept my tone like a pool sign. No diving, no running. Anybody could see, and someone did. I tapped my phone. "Me." Jess pressed her lips together, the way you do when you're trying not to smear lipstick, but also trying not to cry. "I didn't want secrets," she said. I wanted an easy way to stop wanting." She let the sentence unravel. It's been... She made a helpless circle in the air with her hand. Evan is good. He's good. But he lives like a bulletin board. Organized. Clipped. Things scheduled with pins. I wanted to feel like a pushpin got pulled and the whole thing slid. The metaphor was imperfect and exactly right. The rich neighbor's house exhaled a low chord of music. A door opened and shut. Does his wife know? I asked, and saw the answer before it reached her mouth. She knows everything, Jess said. And I realized she meant the wife knows everything about travel routes and charitable boards and the right florist for sympathy orchids. Not necessarily this. She knows how to be the person I pretend to be at HOA events. Jess's laugh was brittle. I'm not good at pretending for long. Silence again, except for the thin electronic peep a smoke detector makes when it needs a new battery. Someone else's problem. But noise has no fences. You're going to tell me to stop, Jess said. Because Milo. Because Evan. Because it's the right thing. I'm going to tell you to decide, I said, surprising even myself. On purpose. Not because the album went to the wrong place or because a box shows up after dark. Decide as if your life is yours even inside the fence. Jess stared at the box. What if the decision is ugly? It probably is, I said. But it beats the HOA deciding for you. I didn't have to explain what I meant. Our community's liking for soft scandal. The way news wicks across the cul-de-sac through group chats and shared dog walkers until it arrives at your door wearing a pie. If people start whispering, it won't stop where you imagine. People already whisper, she murmured, half a smile on her mouth without joy in it. I've heard the gossip. You, of all people, know it. She tilted her chin up at my balcony. The light from my kitchen framed me like a talk show host in the closing credits. We heard a footstep then. Heavy and sure on gravel meant only for gardeners. Jess stiffened. The lemon tree breathed again. I looked past her and saw the source. The wealthy neighbor walking along the side path that cuts between his yard and Jess's. A shadow moving with the economy of someone used to doors opening. He wore a shirt with that tidy pattern, sleeves rolled with just enough mess to look designed. His watch winked. He was on the phone, voice low and amused. A second later, his porch cam light brightened, catching the sharp planes of his face in profile. He didn't see us, not yet. But he was close enough for me to smell his cologne, clean and expensive, like cedar in the lobby of a new hotel. Go inside, I said instinctively, my voice thinner than I liked. Jess didn't move. He drops things by, she said, small. Calls it convenience. Convenience. Another word we use when the more accurate one is temptation. He saw us then. Or rather, he saw Jess. And then, a beat later, his gaze climbed to my balcony as if summing up an equation with a remainder. The phone slid from his ear. He didn't smile. He didn't frown. He had the resting face of a person who expects service. Evening, he said, his voice pitched to travel easily across hedges. It was so normal I could have drowned in it. Evening, Jess said back, but the syllables landed like glassware. He lifted his hand. A key glittered like a small blade of light. Left my thing, he said, gesturing vaguely toward the back patio as if the vagueness was a kind of discretion. Thought I'd grab it before bed. You left it, Jess said, and the sentence had geological layers. Don't mind me, he said, and smiled the way charter members of clubs smile at waiters. Good night? He looked at me, blanks to be filled in. I gave him my first name. He used it immediately and correctly, the way rich people learn names like handshakes. You've got the best view in the community, he said, eyes flicking to my balcony again. I felt suddenly like a lifeguard with a whistle, visible and inappropriate. Catch all the sunsets and all the rule breaking, I said lightly, an experiment. He held my gaze long enough for the light to reframe his features into something interesting. Yes, expensive, but also hungry. I'm very pro-rule, he said, putting his phone in his pocket, when they're written properly. He slipped past Jess then, barely brushing the idea of her, and disappeared onto her patio. I listened for what you're not supposed to. Footsteps, the clink of glass, the hush of breath. Jess and I didn't move, conspirators by not moving. He reappeared a minute later with nothing in his hands, which somehow seemed worse. Got it, he announced, as if to an audience. Night. He walked back along the path, not looking at either of us now, which was its own kind of looking. We stood there long after the automatic porch lights timed out, and he became just another window with a blue square behind it. Jess held the white box like a child holds a book in a library, unsure if it's the right one, aware someone might need it more. I went inside and washed a clean glass, because sometimes you have to do a small right thing when the big ones are unsorted. I didn't sleep. The album updated again at 11:07 p.m., a photo of the clubhouse bulletin board. It was almost artful, a beige corkboard with neat rows of announcements. Yoga schedule, lost cat, HOA rule change proposals. But in the corner, tacked with a gold pushpin, was a flyer for pool safety refresh after-hours staff meeting. Private. The timestamp said yesterday. The contributor was Jay. The caption was a single emoji, the hush face, finger to lips. I enlarged it until the pixels softened like bread. A reflection on the glass of the frame showed two silhouettes, just the hats of their heads, the curve of shoulders, the watch face star, my own warped balcony rail in the corner like a signature. I should have gone to bed. Instead, I opened a new email and addressed it to the HOA's anonymous feedback form. Yes, it exists. No, we don't talk about it. Subject line: question about after-hours use of pool facilities. In the body, I typed and deleted a dozen versions of, we all pay to keep this place nice. We all expect the rules to apply to all. I thought about attaching the photo. I thought about Milo's dinosaur pajamas. I thought about how, once a rumor starts, it doesn't end with facts. It ends when people are bored. I closed the laptop. I wasn't the HOA's detective. I was the neighbor with a balcony and a conscience that liked to rehearse speeches. In the morning, the cul-de-sac put on its normal suit. Strollers rolled. The mail kiosk clicked open and shut. Evan waved from his driveway as he wrestled Milo into a car seat, tossing in a lunchbox with cartoon tigers. Jess emerged with a travel mug, and the white box now reborn as just another package to be placed gently in a trunk. Evan leaned to kiss her cheek. She turned just enough for it to land. I watched for flinches. I watched for anything but ordinary, and the ordinariness was its own violence. At noon, an HOA email dropped. Reminder: tonight's pool safety refresh, staff only. Attached: a PDF with the clubhouse schedule, my favorite genre of literature. And there it was, the private after-hours block from 9 to 10:15 p.m. The attendees list was redacted, which is hilarious because you can't redact who walks in. Beneath, a line. Security note: cameras will be offline for equipment update. It was nothing. It was everything. Ramon came by at 2 to skim leaves, whistling. He tipped his cap at me. "Busy day," he said, eyes twinkling like he knows more than everyone and less than he wants. "What's at 9?" I asked. He shrugged. "Meeting. I go home." He looked at Jess's house, then at Mr. Wealthy's. "You hear the news?" he asked. Too casual. I felt the tilt. "What news?" My voice tried not to sound like it had already written the headline. He grinned. "Board wants to redo the pool tiles. More blue." He winked. Everyone likes to look at Rich. After he left, the heat settled into the concrete until it glowed. I watched Jess jog to her car around 5, hair in a ponytail, the gold bracelet a small planet orbiting her wrist. She drove out the gate like it was a curtain and she was slipping backstage. At 8:45 p.m., I made tea I wouldn't drink and turned off my inside lights but left the balcony light on like a porch for moths. The pool area below the clubhouse was quiet, the water black and flat. At 8:58, a figure walked the path from Jess's house toward the clubhouse. A woman in a dark hoodie, hood up despite the heat. She walked with the purposeful not hurrying of someone who doesn't want to be seen hurrying. A minute later, another figure from the opposite direction. A man in a blazer despite the temperature. The watch reflected by the path lights like a tiny lighthouse. They didn't approach the front doors of the clubhouse. They slipped around the side gate toward the pool, where the sign reads, "Staff only," in polite letters that assume you are. I told myself I was watching to make sure nobody drowned. I told myself a lot of things. From my balcony, I saw them at the deep end. 2 figures dissolving into the dark like secrets prefer. They stopped close enough to share whisper air. No touching at first. Just the electricity of 2 magnets idling inches apart. A flash of a gift bag ribbon as something changed hands. Their faces turned toward each other and away like they were aligning satellites. The pavilion fan above the tables clicked as it spun, a heartbeat in the ceiling. I couldn't hear them, not words, only the cadence. Urgent, then careful, then something like surrender braided with schedule. At one point, Jess stepped back, her hand up in a gesture I recognized from potlucks when someone tries to pass her the wrong spatula. "No, thank you." He stilled. The distance between them lengthened by a foot that felt like a mile. And then, out of nowhere, a third shadow broke across the pool deck. Shorter, rounder at the shoulders, moving with the momentum of someone who hadn't intended to go this far, but had, nevertheless. Evan. He had Milo's backpack slung over one shoulder like he'd just come from dropping it in the lost and found and kept going. He was not running. He was walking the way people walk when they are looking for their wives at a party and are about to find them. The cameras were offline. The gates had been propped earlier for staff. The universe had conspired to turn my balcony into a theater box. Jess saw him first. The sound she made, not even a sound, a gasp that bent the air, traveled up to me like a bat signal. The wealthy neighbor turned in a neat quarter circle, hands already doing that empty palms thing men do when they want to communicate harmlessness. Evan stopped 3 paces from them, his jaw working around a word that didn't want to be said. "Hey," he said finally. It was the kind of hey you say at the vet clinic when you're not sure if the news will be bad. I backed away from the rail without meaning to, as if my retreat could change their geometry. My heartbeat set to the speed of the pavilion fan. Jess stepped forward, then stopped. then stepped again. Her voice was audible only by shape, not by syllable. Evan listened without interrupting, which is the luxury of good men. The wealthy neighbor stood a little off to the side like the world's worst chaperone. Twice he glanced toward the path, calculation flickering behind his eyes like TV static. Routes, exits, ratios of risk to reputation. I couldn't hear what Jess told him, but I could see what she didn't. This wasn't about the watch or the ribbon or the fact that he could afford the ribbon. It was about the noticing, about the way a person's voice can pick your name out of a room like your favorite song on a shuffled playlist. Evan's shoulders rose and fell. He put his hand over his mouth like a man recovering from a too bright light. Milo's backpack slid off Evan's shoulder and hit the concrete with a soft thud that sounded like someone closing a book. I hate to say what happened next, because you want drama to be operatic to justify the watching. But it wasn't. There were no shouted names, no grabbing, no slap that echoed over chlorinated water. Evan said something, and Jess's face changed. Relief and dread poured into the same mold. The wealthy neighbor took a step like he was going to speak, and Evan lifted his hand without looking at him. Not a threat, not even a stop, just a request for a second more of the life they had shared. It was the gentlest refusal I've ever seen, a golf cart word to life near the maintenance shed. Ramon, I thought wildly, coming back to grab a forgotten tool. The spell on the concrete cracked. The wealthy neighbor's phone lit his face as he texted with the speed of someone who has assistance. Jess turned her face up as if there might be stars. But the HOA prefers to keep the sky matte to avoid light pollution. Evan picked up the backpack. The meeting was over without ever having a beginning. They left in 3 directions. Jess toward the gate that led to our street. Evan toward the clubhouse, where there were probably paper towels. The wealthy neighbor along the hedge path like a letter returning unsent. My balcony was a cold ship. I went inside and turned on the TV to a documentary about people who rescue old houses. It felt on brand. My phone vibrated once, and then again. A new text from the unknown number. Please don't tell anyone. It didn't say who. It didn't need to. I put the phone face down. The kettle I had never turned off reached a shriek and then stopped when I lifted it. The house smelled briefly like steam. 30 minutes later, a message slid into the HOA group thread from Jeff, our benevolent tyrant. Heads up, everyone. Gate cameras down tonight for scheduled maintenance. Should be back by morning. If you see anything unusual, DM me. I stared at the word unusual until it looked misspelled. The cul-de-sac was a chessboard now, and I was a rook who only moves in straight lines but could see diagonals if I squinted. Sleep didn't come. At 2:13 a.m., I stood again on the balcony. The pool lay still, the clubhouse dark. The rich neighbor's house glowed in 3 upstairs squares. Office, bedroom, a hallway where someone thinks better. In Jess and Evan's kitchen, a single lamp haloed the edge of the island. A shape moved. Then another. They were talking. They were deciding. They were either building a bridge or measuring a cliff. I didn't learn which until morning, when a new photo appeared in the album that had begun this whole spiral. It was not romantic. It was not an accident. It was a screenshot of a Google Photos settings page. Stop sharing album? Remove all collaborators? The button was highlighted in red. The caption for the first time was words. It's over. My chest loosened, then tightened again, because over is another word with perforations. And then, as if fate wanted to underline, an envelope appeared on my doormat when I went to get the paper. White, unaddressed, tucked under the welcome mat as if to hide from cameras that were now presumably back online. Inside, a single glossy photo printed from a phone, the clubhouse bulletin board, the hush emoji, in pen this time, and beneath it, in cramped, neat letters that did not belong to Jess or Evan or Wealth, "Stay quiet or this gets loud." The paper smelled like toner and something else, maybe a cologne I'd smelled last night. My stomach dropped in that elevator way. I glanced involuntarily at the house next door, at the precise rectangle of his front door, at the idea of a person who collects initials on ribbons and leverage like cufflinks. I folded the note back into the envelope and slid it into a cookbook on my kitchen shelf because that's where you hide recipes for disasters. My balcony felt suddenly less like a lighthouse and more like a witness stand. I had always thought my choices were two: stay quiet or expose. The envelope suggested a third: be quiet and be complicit, loudly. The pool filter hummed on schedule as if scheduling could save anyone. The HOA thread pinged with someone complaining about teenagers leaving wet footprints on the clubhouse floor. I looked up in time to see him, our wealthy neighbor, step out to his driveway in athleisure and sunglasses, two put together for a morning. He glanced up at me with a warmth that didn't reach his eyes and raised two fingers in a casual salute, the sort cops make to each other in old movies. Behind him, his garage door yawned and stopped mid-air. He took a phone call, nodding, laughing at the right markers. His watch flashed like the world's smallest siren. That night, a second envelope arrived. Same white, same nook under the mat. Inside this one, a Google Drive link printed on paper with a short string of characters, and a handwritten note. "You're good at seeing. Try hearing." I didn't type the link on my phone. I typed it on my laptop like I was dropping a coin into a fountain asking for luck I didn't believe in. The folder opened with a single audio file named poolnight.m4a. The timestamp was yesterday. My cursor hovered, shook, clicked. Two voices rose out of the white noise of the pool filter. Jess's, his. Closer than I'd ever heard them. More ordinary and therefore merciless. I listened to words about gifts that didn't fit and a house that did. About feeling seen and the costs of light. I listened to a sentence that turned the floor of my balcony to sand. "He'll never leave her. You know that." Silence. "And neither will you." At the end, a third voice entered the recording, startled. Evan's hello, barely anchored. The file cut off with a shuffle of fabric, a breath, the sound of a phone sliding into a pocket. I took off my headphones into the kind of quiet that makes your own heartbeat sound vulgar. I couldn't unsay anything I hadn't said, but I could still choose. The word cliffhanger gets tossed around on TV recaps, on HOA agendas. Will the Petway station be funded? Stay tuned. But this was the first time the cliff had felt under my actual feet. The next morning was trash day. Blue bins marching like soldiers. I rolled mine to the curb and found Evan already there, the Garmin on his wrist registering a polite heart rate. He gave me a smile that didn't crack but also didn't glue. "Morning, morning," I said, and wondered how you ask. "Did you receive a threat under your welcome mat?" In a voice appropriate for bins, he looked toward the pool. "You ever feel like everyone's watching?" he asked lightly, and because I am a terrible person, I almost laughed. Like, the cameras, the committee, the neighbors, all of it, all the time, I said, and it was both our joke and an apology. He nodded, like checking a box on a list he hadn't made. "We're figuring things out," he said. "Feels ugly." He didn't owe me that sentence. It was a gift without ribbon. Before I could say anything useful, his phone pinged. He glanced down and froze in the small way that tells more truth than theatrics. "Hey, I gotta," he said. "See you tonight at movie night?" He meant it. He meant we'd all sit on the lawn, watch an animated film about animals learning to share, and eat popcorn from compostable tubs while our faces flickered with projected lessons. "Yeah," I said. "Wouldn't miss it." I went back inside and opened the anonymous HOA form again. My fingers hovered over the keys like gulls over a fish. I typed, "We need to talk about camera maintenance schedules." I deleted it. I typed, "How do we handle anonymous threats placed on doorsteps?" I deleted that too. I typed finally, "What protections are there for residents when others misuse security blind spots?" I hit send before my better self could revise it into something bland. An auto reply came instantly. Jeff's "Have a great day" tone embedded. "Thanks for reaching out. We take safety and respect seriously. I'll share your concern with the board." A knock sounded at my door, 3 measured taps. I thought, delivery. I thought, Ramon's extra chlorine. I thought nothing and everything. I opened it. It was his wife, the wealthy neighbor's. She stood with a casserole. Of course she did. It was wrapped in a towel with blue stripes like the pool. "Hi," she said brightly. Her travel Instagram smile was as good in person. "I'm doing a little neighborhood thing. Thought you could use a dinner you didn't make." Her eyes were friendly and, I realized suddenly, tired. "That's so kind," I said, meaning it in too many directions. "Thank you." She tilted her head. "You're the balcony neighbor," she said, delighted by her own detective work. "You see everything. I couldn't help it." I heard my own voice say softly, "Sometimes I wish I didn't." She laughed. "Oh, same," she said. And then, so quick I almost missed it, her eyes flicked toward Jess's house, then back to me. "See you tonight?" she asked. "I hear the HOA splurged for extra popcorn toppings." Her tone made it a joke. Her eyebrows made it a test. "I'll be there," I said. She handed me the casserole and leaned in conspiratorially. "Between you and me?" she whispered with a wink that could have been friendly or fatal. I never watched the movie. I stood in my foyer with a warm dish and the feeling of standing in a circle chalked on the ground around a bomb. Outside, the community kept behaving. Dogs peed on exactly the right strip of grass. Bus stop laughter bubbled. Amazon thrummed. Inside me, the choice clicked louder than the kettle. Stay quiet or anonymously expose. The envelope in the cookbook weighed the kitchen down. That afternoon, I printed 2 photos from the album. The wine glasses with the watch reflection. The clubhouse board with the hush emoji. I sealed them in a blank envelope and wrote nothing on it. I addressed a second envelope to myself and slid inside a single line, written in my hand. "We don't get to say we didn't know." At dusk, families unfurled picnic blankets on the clubhouse lawn. Kids ran with glow sticks like fireflies on a leash. The inflatable screen inflated. Jeff tested the microphone. "Can everyone hear me in the back?" Laughter in chorus. Jess and Evan arrived together, holding one end of a folding chair each, Milo between them, his scooter abandoned under a bush. Next door, the wealthy neighbor and his wife strolled in with a basket that had to be an antique because the new ones don't patina like that. She waved at me with the hand not holding his arm. He didn't look up. I stood beside the donation jar for new pool tiles. Ramon's joke was already true, and felt my envelopes in my bag like hot stones. When the movie started, the lawn exhaled. All of us sinking into the fiction of animals who can fix their problems in 90 minutes with catchy songs. I eased away from the crowd, my whispering conscience telling me that in a gated community, even your second thoughts have neighbors. The mail kiosk is never locked. It's the least secure thing about us. I slid my blank envelope into slot 23. Not theirs, not mine, a sacrificial number. I slid the letter to myself into my own box. I left the door ajar on purpose, a metaphor flexing. On my way back, I passed the pool. The surface mirrored the screen. Animated foxes performing bravery. On the deck, the shadows of 4 adults stretched long. Jess, Evan, the wealthy neighbor, his wife. They were talking. The patterns of their bodies set a piano duet where no one knows which part they've agreed to play. From the balcony later, when the movie cheered and glow sticks tangled like constellations, I watched the 4 of them end their conversation and break into pairs. But not the pairs you'd expect. Jess walked off with the wife, heads bent. Owen, Evan, striding toward the snack table like a man in search of salt. The wealthy neighbor stood alone for a beat and then looked up at me, straight at me in the dark, as if I were the only camera turned on. He lifted his phone and took a picture of the pool, not of the crowd, not of the movie, of the water. He turned the screen toward himself, checking the shot. Then he put the phone to his ear and smiled as if answering a call that was always going to come. My own phone buzzed with a new notification, a different app this time. Google Photos again, but from a different source. Shared album, Our Street, added by his wife's name. The thumbnail was tonight's movie screen, the pool in the corner, kids like fireflies. She had invited the whole block, a public album, a new story everyone could see. Inside that album, the second photo uploaded made me choke on air. A candid of Jess and the wife, arm in arm, smiling awkwardly but sincerely. A text overlay in bubble letters like a PTA poster. Neighbors. The caption, "We're lucky." I felt the cliff crumble an inch under my heels. Because if this was the new story, then the old one had a new ending I couldn't predict. I tapped the heart on the photo before I could think. The small digital endorsement, a ridiculous gesture that felt like choosing a team. My phone buzzed again. A text from the unknown number. Change of plan. Meet me at the pool at midnight, alone, no initial this time. And that was somehow worse. Midnight in a gated community is quieter than you'd think. No sirens, no nightlife, just the hush of sprinklers and the occasional Amazon truck trying to make a quota. From my balcony, I could hear the difference between a dog sighing in its sleep and a lizard scrabbling across stucco. The pool by midnight looks like a sheet of obsidian laid into the ground. It doesn't invite you. It dares you. The text still burned on my phone. Meet me at the pool, alone, no initial. That detail rattled me more than the message itself. Whoever it was assumed I would obey. Whoever it was assumed I was already complicit. I didn't tell anyone. Who would I tell? HOA Jeff would log it as late night disturbance. Evan would look at me like I had just added one more weight to his already heavy arms. Jess would either beg me not to go or beg me to go. And the wealthy neighbor? If it was him, then telling him was the point of the trap. So at 11:57, I slipped down the path to the pool. The gate beeped when I tapped my fob, a sound far too loud for that hour. The water reflected the clubhouse's outline, a rectangle of shadow. The air smelled like wet cement and faint chlorine, sharp as memory. I kept my phone in my pocket but loosened my grip so I could record or call if needed. The pool deck was empty, or seemed empty. The lounge chairs were shadows in neat rows. A life preserver leaned like a prop against the wall. And then, from the corner where the lifeguards usually stash equipment, a figure stepped out. Hoodie up. Female outline. Jess. She pulled back the hood when she was close enough that the pool lights painted her face. "You came," she whispered, like relief. "You texted?" I asked. My voice echoed too much, bouncing off water. She shook her head. "I didn't, I swear." The surface of the water rippled, not from wind, but from a pebble skipping once, twice, then vanishing. We both turned. A man leaned against the fence, half in shadow, half in moonlight. Expensive posture. The wealthy neighbor. "I did," he said, his voice warm enough to frost glass. "I wanted us to have a conversation without..." He gestured upward, toward my balcony, as if it were a surveillance tower. "Witnesses." Jess froze. "Why drag him into this?" she hissed, jerking her head toward me. "He's not part of..." "Of course he is," the neighbor interrupted smoothly. "He's been narrating this entire drama from his balcony. Don't think I don't notice the eyes that linger too long. You," he looked at me now, "you've turned my life into your little hobby." My throat dried. "I didn't ask to be included," I said. "You put yourselves in the pool. I just saw." "Exactly." He smiled, thin. "And seeing is power, isn't it?" He tapped his watch as if time itself agreed with him. "I'm offering you both a chance to manage this." Jess's face was unreadable, but her fists clenched, the charm on her bracelet trembling. "Manage?" She spat. "You mean bury, hide, like everything else?" He shrugged, elegant. "Do you prefer the alternative? Exposure? Scandal? Evan in pieces, Milo confused, my wife humiliated, this little bubble community choking on whispers. You think anyone survives that intact?" He spread his hands. "Discretion is mercy. For everyone. For a second." The pool filter hummed louder than any of us. The truth of what he was saying. It wasn't wrong. Exposure wouldn't cleanse anything. It would just salt the ground. But the way he said it, the entitlement in his tone, made my skin prickle. "So what's the deal?" I asked, surprising myself. "What do you want from me?" He tilted his head, as if weighing whether I deserved an answer. "Simple. Stay quiet. Delete what you have. And in return, life continues." His gaze cut toward Jess. "For all of us." Jess took a step closer to me, as if declaring sides. "Don't," she whispered. "Don't let him control the story." "Story?" He chuckled softly. "That's all this is to you. A story. You wanted luxury, attention, a thrill. Now you're bored with the ending." His voice hardened. "But some of us don't get bored. Some of us build," I wanted to argue. Instead, I remembered the envelopes under my mat, the audio file, the note that smelled of his cologne. "You're the one who left the threats," I said. My voice cracked. "The hush emoji, the recording," He didn't flinch. And you listened, didn't you? You looked. You saw. Which means you're no different from me. He smiled. We both know secrets are currency. Jess's breath came sharp. You think you can buy silence with intimidation. I don't think, he said softly. I know. The gate beeped again. Another fob. All three of us froze. The latch clicked and in walked his wife. Perfect posture, hair tied back, carrying a thermos like she had every right to be there. She stopped when she saw us, her gaze sweeping. Jess by my side, her husband lounging in half shadow, me caught in the triangle. Her smile bloomed, practiced, but her eyes glinted steel. Well, she said brightly, what a cozy midnight swim. No one spoke. The pool lights flickered once, then steadied. The silence was a stage waiting for a line. I should be angry, she continued, setting the thermos neatly on a chair. And maybe I am. But mostly, I'm tired. Tired of playing hostess to a marriage that's half wallpaper. She looked at her husband. Did you really think I didn't notice the gifts leaving the house? The late-night calls labeled as work? Please. She turned to Jess. And you? Her tone softened just slightly. I almost pity you. Almost. Jess's mouth opened, closed. She whispered, I didn't mean, of course you meant it. The wife cut in. That's the whole problem. The wealthy neighbor raised his hands, still calm. Darling, this is unnecessary. No, she said, this is overdue. And then, to me, you've seen enough to understand. But you don't understand the real dilemma yet. The problem isn't whether she keeps quiet. She pointed at Jess. Or whether I do. It's you. The neighbor on the balcony. The one who notices. Because as long as you notice, this story never ends. The pool water lapped gently, like punctuation. She leaned closer, her voice carrying just enough for all of us. So the question is, who are you going to protect? I didn't answer. Couldn't. My mouth was dry as cement dust. 3 pairs of eyes pinned me. Jess's pleading, the neighbor's calculating, the wife's daring me to speak. And under it all, the pool waited like a mirror, ready to reflect whichever truth I chose. Behind us, a door slammed. Evan's voice called faintly from the street, Milo's small laugh trailing, the sound of family, the sound of stakes. The wife smiled one last time, sharp and bright. Think fast, balcony neighbor, because silence is a choice too. And then she picked up her thermos, walked back through the gate, and left us drowning in questions the water could never cool. The air around the pool that night never settled. Even after Jess slipped back into her house and the wealthy neighbor vanished into his, even after his wife's measured footsteps disappeared up the path, I stayed rooted by the water. My reflection wavered with every ripple from the filter. I wasn't sure if I looked like a witness or an accomplice. When I finally dragged myself upstairs, the balcony light felt like an interrogation lamp. I killed it and sat in the dark, staring at my phone. The group chat for the neighborhood was still buzzing about movie night. Photos of kids on blankets, popcorn selfies, perfect families, perfect moments. No mention of what had happened yards away. The illusion was intact, and yet, my mailbox still held those envelopes. My laptop still had the audio file. My mind still replayed the wife's words. As long as you notice, this story never ends. The next morning, the cul-de-sac looked freshly ironed. Cars reversed from driveways in neat sequence. Milo waved his lunchbox like a flag. Jess blew kisses that landed with choreography. Evan's smile was pale but present. Across the hedge, the wealthy neighbor jogged out in designer running gear, his wife walking behind with a reusable coffee cup, waving at the mailman as if she'd invented civility. I opened my mailbox. The blank envelope I'd planted in slot 23 was gone. I never knew who picked it up, or if it had already begun its quiet circulation. My own letter was still waiting, my handwriting staring back at me. We don't get to say we didn't know. I shoved it into my pocket like contraband. That evening, HOA Jeff called an emergency board meeting in the clubhouse. Security concerns, the subject line read. I went, of course. Half the neighborhood did. Rows of folding chairs filled fast. The bulletin board behind him still bore flyers for yoga and bake sales, but a fresh sheet of paper was pinned in the corner. Anonymous concern. Camera blind spots being exploited. Jeff adjusted his glasses, scanning the crowd like a teacher counting cheaters. We received a note, he began. Some of you may have noticed certain activity around the pool during off hours. His pause was deliberate. The board is looking into it, but I want to stress, this community relies on trust. Trust and respect for boundaries. I felt Jess 2 rows over, her shoulders rigid, Evan beside her with Milo drawing dinosaurs on the agenda handout. Across the aisle, the wealthy neighbor sat straight-backed, nodding in performative agreement. His wife folded her hands like a diplomat. For 30 minutes, we debated cameras, gates, security patrols. No one said affair. No one said betrayal. But the words hung there, thick as humidity. When the meeting ended, neighbors clustered in 2s and 3s, whispering. Jeff taped the new security schedule to the board with cheerful finality. As I left, I found another envelope in my mailbox. No handwriting this time, just typed words on a single sheet. If you speak, we both fall. No signature. I knew whose voice that was without hearing it. Days blurred. Jess stopped jogging in the evenings. The wealthy neighbor's wife started a neighborhood album on Google Photos. Gatherings, kids' playdates, pool afternoons. Every image was wholesome enough to hurt your teeth. She was building a new story, brick by brick, publicly, visibly, and it worked. Neighbors reshared, liked, commented. The old album, Pool Days, faded into the digital attic, but I couldn't forget. I still had the audio, the photos, the threats. And every time I opened my balcony door, I felt like the community was waiting for me to choose whether to speak or swallow. The decision came one evening at dusk. I saw Jess at the pool with Milo, teaching him to float. Evan sat on the edge, feet in the water, clapping encouragement. For the first time in weeks, they looked like a family again. I almost let myself believe in it. Until I saw the wealthy neighbor step onto his balcony, a wine glass in hand, watching them the way I watch the street. He raised the glass slightly in my direction, a toast or a warning. Something in me snapped. That night, I printed the photo of the wine glasses with his watch reflection. I slipped it into an anonymous envelope with no note. I walked to the clubhouse and pinned it to the bulletin board beneath the flyer about lost cats. No signature, no caption, just the photo. The next morning, the cul-de-sac hummed with whispers. Someone had taken it down, but not before it spread. Screenshots flew through text threads, through the neighborhood group chat. Who posted this? What does it mean? Is it a prank? By evening, the wealthy neighbor's wife uploaded a photo to her wholesome album. Her husband and Evan standing side by side at the grill during an HOA cookout, laughing like brothers. The caption, "Love our neighbors." Her counter story, her damage control. And Jess? She didn't show her face that day. The fallout was quieter than I expected. No confrontations on lawns, no public accusations. Instead, a strange recalibration. Evan began spending more hours in his garage, fixing things that weren't broken. Jess volunteered for the HOA social committee, pouring her energy into bake sales and pool parties. The wealthy neighbor traveled more, or claimed to. His wife smiled brighter, started a book club, filled the street with invitations that felt like peace treaties. But under it all, I felt the story still breathing, waiting. One last envelope arrived at my door. Inside, a photo of my balcony, taken from the street. The caption scribbled in pen, "Your turn." And here's the truth I can't admit at HOA meetings. They're right. The story never ends while I keep watching. Every whisper, every photo, every late-night sound. The balcony makes me part of it. Jess once said I was the one who sees. The wealthy neighbor said seeing is power. His wife said seeing is the problem. They were all right. So now, some nights, I draw the curtains. I turn off the balcony light. I let the pool reflect nothing. Because maybe the only way to end the story is to stop noticing. Or maybe that's just what they want me to believe. Because even with the curtains closed, I hear the faint clink of a wine glass from next door. And I can't help wondering whose hand he's raising it to. You think you know your neighbors, but behind every curtain there's another story waiting. This was just one of them. This was Lily. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.